Tonight, President John Dramani Mahama directs immediate opening and operationalization of 6 transfer stations as concerns emerge of inadequate dumping sites.
Also in the bulletin, NPP constituency primaries end successfully across the country except in Bantama, where elections have been put on hold following violence.
Tonight, as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark Population Day, attention is turning to the country's increasing rural-urban migration.
And on the international front, South Africa's World Cup midfielder Jayden Adams dies aged 25. We have details of these and more in the next 60 minutes. Stay with us.
Let's start off from the Ashanti region and do some politics because 3 people have been detained by the police in the region for their alleged involvement in a violence which disrupted the Bantama NPP constituency executive elections on Saturday. Another person has also sustained injuries. William Evanzinkum, he put together this report.
Over 1,000 delegates were expected to go through a smooth electoral process. However, it was marred with violence. As we were going through the process, some people invaded the polling center and began destroying the electoral materials. We had earlier heard that an injunction has been secured to halt the process. Our attention was also drawn to the fact that officials from the EC had also left the polling center. Electoral materials were all destroyed. An exercise to elect constituency executives was halted. The scene was chaotic. Police had a hectic day bringing the situation under control.
Police for how I'm acting unprofessional. You say any use and some information be paid, they use a police commander and can say, information say, Nipana, conduct election, and use it for use office. Fine.
I blame the police for not alerting the voters after picking intelligence that some people had planned to disrupt the process. Three people were arrested, including a former constituency organizer. In the Achoma constituency, close to 1,900 delegates went through the process. Here, it was smooth, with no violence recorded.
So, well, the NPP's constituency executive elections, it has ended in some parts of the country, but the exercise is still being watched closely because of disputes in some constituencies, for instance. The Electoral Commission, they earlier said it was ready to supervise the polls at all the voting centers nationwide, with voting scheduled for Saturday and Sunday. But even before voting began, some constituencies were already facing legal and internal party challenges. In the Greater Accra region, for instance, attention has been on the Abdekuma North constituency. Botiano English Yamanfo is also involved. Wejagbawe is also included, where aggrieved party members challenged their delegates register. Well, the party's 2028 flag bearer, Dr. Baumia, has urged candidates and members to remain united, saying regardless of the outcome, the party remains one family. But the election has not been without incident, and we just heard from William Evanzinkum updating us on what happened in the Ashanti region, particularly the Bantama constituency. We're working the phone lines to speak with the Director of Elections of the NPP, Evans Nimako. I understand is joining us. So, Nimako, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you.
Good evening, my pleasure for having me.
Which constituencies have successfully completed voting and declaration, and which ones are still outstanding as we speak? If you can give us a number.
Well, I mean, considering the guidelines given, we have today and tomorrow for this whole exercise of having constituency delegate conference, and then the delegates will elect for us constituency officers across the 270 constituencies. Where we've had issues, the party steering committee has issued a directive that we will not conduct elections in constituencies where we've had court injunctions. And so, speaking to you, across the country today, we've had a very successful constituency conferences that have elected our constituency executive. In some of the places, results are still being counted by the constituency committees, because if you look at it, the guidelines is clear that when it comes to the conduct of constituency, regional and national officers elections, it has to be conducted and supervised by the Electoral Commission. So we engage the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service, and other stakeholders. So across the country, we are ensuring that we get this exercise done successfully. And information that has come through from our party officials, representatives of the Elections Committee, we've had a very successful exercise today.
Granted, but there were pockets of violence in some constituencies, and what we're seeing on the screen right now is what happened in the Bantama constituency, for instance. Can you tell us what happened and what steps the party is taking to resolve that, as well as some other constituencies where the delegates are not very happy with how things are turning out there in relation to the constituency executive elections?
Well, so I was not in Ashanti region, I was in Greater Accra Eastern region. The issue that came up, I've seen some pictures. Because of security implication, I will wait a little while and get detailed security report from the Ghana Police Service, and then we can speak to the issues.
You partly answered the concern about injunctions being put by some members of the party in relation to the elections. What exactly is the party's plan to address the various concerns that appear to be coming from the contents of the register?
Well, I mentioned to you earlier that the position of the party is that where we have been served with the injunction, we will respect the decision of the court and wait for the final determination of issues before the court. And so the party gave the direction that constituencies where we have been served with injunction suit, we will not go ahead. And we have this communication with the Electoral Commission. And so it is clear in the directions given by the party that we are not going to go ahead to conduct constituency delegate conferences in constituencies where we have been served with injunction.
And finally,
at all times, the party has insisted and directed that our party members must exhaust our internal mechanisms or resolution of issues before they resort to the court. But I mean, when it comes to people's rights, you cannot say you pay your own arrangement, you want to infringe upon their rights. But as much as possible, for all party issues, it's been directed that you need to exhaust our internal mechanisms of resolutions before you could go to court. But once an individual, a party member, elects to go to court, the party is bound to respect the decisions of the court.
And Mr. Nimako, briefly, so particularly for the Bantama constituency, the elections will be redone tomorrow?
I need to get a report from the national representative in charge of the constituency elections to know the actual development, and then I can speak to you.
Thank you. Evans Nimako is Director of Elections of the NPP, speaking with us there.
Well, still with the party, the NPP today successfully conducted its constituency executive elections across all constituencies in the Upper East region. In the Bawku Central constituency, party leaders called for peace and unity, urging members to work together to return the party to power in the 2028 general elections. Castro Sanyala reports from Bawku.
The election held at the Bawku police station saw 1,172 delegates cast their ballots to elect 11 constituency executives from a pool of 25 aspirants. The voting process commenced smoothly with security provided by personnel from the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure a peaceful exercise. By 2 p.m., majority of the delegates had cast their vote and patiently awaited the official declaration of the results. Speaking to the media, the secretary of the election committee, Abubakar Idrisu Bawa, appealed for lasting peace in Bawku and called on party members to remain united and committed to returning the NPP to power.
We expect all contestants to accept what the voters have decided. After all, it's one party. There is no loser, there is no winner in that contest. You are still a member of the party. You should exercise patience. Today might not be your term. Tomorrow will be yours.
Across the Upper East region, a total of 13,218 delegates participated in the constituency executives elections. Hajia Fozia, the women's coordinator for the North Natinga electoral area in Bawku, expressed confidence that the newly elected executives would work diligently to strengthen the party and help secure victory for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia in the 2028 presidential elections.
Coming 2028 election, we want MPP to come back to power. I casted my vote, and I need the chairman, the secretary that is coming to bring back Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for our victory 2028. Inshallah.
Away from that, the government's two-day nationwide cleanup exercise has officially ended, with many communities recording significant progress in clearing choked gutters and drains. However, despite the success of the exercise, concerns remain over the large heaps of debris and sand left along roadsides and beside gutters awaiting collection.
A tour of some streets in Accra, particularly within the Ablekuma South, Ablekuma North, and Accra Metropolitan Assembly areas, revealed that while many drains had been thoroughly desilted, the collected waste has yet to be transported to designated disposal sites. Piles of sand, plastic waste, and other debris were seen lining several roads and drainage channels. Some traders operating in these areas expressed concern that delay in evacuating the waste could disrupt business activities. They noted that the heaps occupy portions of walkways and roadside spaces, making it difficult for customers to access their shops.
If we can do this every month or every 2 months.
Every 2 months to help.
Yeah.
Now I see a lot of debris in front of your shop.
So we are trying to collect them, as you can see them doing.
Because the way in Suoto say, a better feel gatanema. So when it's a man affairs government, you know, almost say, oh, my mono about time dorsum. Single parent dorsum, or my moon. It is a baby, no, by a Saturday, no, the best Saturday, because in cross of phoning in our back, every just Saturday on crash. Saturday, it's not fair high. At least Thursday, Friday, dear. Yeah, the yes, a year or mine.
Others also fear that if it rains before the waste is collected, the debris could be washed back into the drains, undoing much of the work carried out during the cleanup exercise. and increasing the risk of flooding.
Because
I would like to encourage the government to always initiate such an exercise because it has been so good. When you look at the gutters and all the places, in fact, it has not been easy.
We started the work yesterday. That's the day one of the general cleaning. We were able to do some to some limit. Every first Saturday of every month that the government has declared for the sanitation day, we will use that to do the rest of the work.
Residents appealed to the relevant authorities and waste management agencies to move swiftly to collect and properly dispose of the accumulated waste to ensure the objectives of the nationwide exercise are fully achieved. Many observers have commended the level of the public participation in the exercise, describing it as positive steps towards improving sanitation across the country. They, however, stress that the cleanup should not end with the desilting of drains alone. They say the timely evacuation of the debris are equally important to prevent the drains from becoming choked again. The two-day exercise forms part of broader effort to improve sanitation, promote environmental cleanliness, and reduce the perennial flooding that affects several communities during the rainy season. Joseph Armstrong, Good Alibu TV3, Accra.
And the sweeping, desilting and collection may have ended, but along some roadsides, the evidence of the exercise remains. Piles of silt and debris gathered from drains now sit unattended, raising questions about disposal, sustainability, and whether Ghana's sanitation efforts can move beyond a two-day cleanup.
The just-ended two-day national sanitation exercise mobilized residents, local authorities and sanitation workers nationwide to clear choked drains, remove waste and clean public spaces. By the close of day one, heaps of silt and plastics pulled from homes and gutters lined the road, still awaiting collection. Even after day two, the piles remained visible along Accra's principal street. Concerns are mounting that without swift disposal, the waste could become a health hazard or worse, wash back into drains if the rains return, compounding the flood risk. For many, the question is familiar. After the cleanup, what happens next? Where does the waste go and how effective will collection be? During the president's return visit to Alaju on Saturday morning, the president said government has deployed dump trucks through the military to spearhead the removal of silt and debris from the flood.
In the past, we do these cleanups. We take all the garbage out of the gutters, but we don't follow up and come and collect the garbage that is by the roadside. And so when the rain falls, it just washes all the dirt back in. And so today we're going to concentrate on scooping all that garbage we took out of the gutters into these big trucks that you see there, so that they'll take them to the dump site and go and dump them. But we know that if you look at the city and all the garbage we've taken out, we cannot do it in one day. So we'll all help to do it today, but tomorrow the army and the other agencies will continue until we're able to clear all the garbage that was taken out of the drains.
Yet the lingering question remains, are these measures enough, or will this end like previous years with debris left behind uncollected? As Ghana battles flooding and poor sanitation, the true success of National Sanitation Day will not be measured by how much waste is removed, but the impact of another heavy downpour.
Well, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the immediate opening and operationalization of 6 transfer stations that were built more than 9 years ago, and the aim is to support the disposal of refuse collected during the national cleanup exercise and prevent the waste from returning to drains during rainfall. Speaking on day 2 of the national cleaning exercise, he said the move was necessary to address a recurring challenge where waste collected from drains left by the roadside and later get washed back into the drainage systems.
I want all of us to remember that today is day 2 of the national cleaning exercise. Yesterday, the turnout was fantastic, very good. People came out and helped to clean their neighborhoods. Today, the turnout is also good, but I'm just calling on those who are still in their houses and haven't come out. Please come out and come and join us so that we clean the city after the flood. Yesterday, one of the directives I gave was that in the past, we do these cleanups. We take all the garbage out of the gutters, but we don't follow up and come and collect the garbage that is by the roadside. And so when the rain falls, it just washes all the dirt back in. And so today, we're going to concentrate on scooping all that garbage we took out of the gutters into these big trucks that you see there, so that they'll take them to the dump site and go and dump them. But we know that if you look at the city and all the garbage we've taken out, we cannot do it in one day. So we'll all help to do it today. But tomorrow, the Army and the other agencies will continue until we're able to clear all the garbage that was taken out of the drains. We've had 6 transfer stations that were built more than 9 years ago. Unfortunately, they were not put into operation. So we've asked the contractor to open the transfer stations, that's Zoom Lion, so that the Aboboyas and others can take the garbage to the transfer stations. They don't need to go all the way to Amasama into the Irikops. If they dump at the transfer stations, we'll use these big trucks and load the garbage and take them to the Irikops. And so all the Aboboyas that are taking part in this exercise, you don't need to go to Amasama. Go to the nearest transfer station. If you ask, they'll show you where it is, and then you can go and dump your garbage there. So I want to thank everybody who's come out, and those who are still at home, all of you come out. We are doing this together. And Ghana is a resilient country, Accra is a resilient city, and we'll bounce back better than before. Thank you very much.
And the Ghana Health Service has begun a major disinfection exercise at the Tema Station Market and the Adabraka Polyclinic. This follows a nationwide cleanup ordered by President Mahama after last week's floods.
The floods left behind massive debris across homes and communities. In response, Ghanaians, institutions, shops, and lorry parks were mandated to join the cleanup. Leading the disinfection drive were the Ghana Health Service, the Korle Klottey Municipal Assembly, and its partners. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria, says the measure is crucial, even though no cholera cases have been recorded since the floods.
They realized that some of our health facilities were also in the flood-prone areas, and also the market. Our headquarters is right here. We have the Tema Station Market. And following the cleaning, the next is to disinfect and then make sure that there is fumigation to avoid the possibility of outbreak of any kind of disease, including cholera, typhoid. Once we get into the season, we get this kind of outbreaks. Fortunately, as of now, as we talk today, right now, we don't have any registered or recorded cholera outbreak. We don't. But we don't need to have it before we take actions. We need to prevent it because it's extremely expensive to treat people when there is an outbreak.
Municipal Chief Executive for Korle Klottey, Alote Gezi, confirmed refuse collection is ongoing, with trucks deployed to clear the debris.
It's interesting how some of these things the public take it. We have serious mass of debris from the flood. Anybody that flood gets into their house, they remove everything from their homes. We are overwhelmed, but we are managing the situations. We have over 6 trucks moving in and out. Yesterday we worked up to 6 a.m. today, trying to just get places to move them. So it's just not even over 24 hours. But we are doing our best that by the close of day or tomorrow, we should be able to clear most of the debris that we have on our roads.
Partnership.
Now, weather forecasts have become part of everyday life, particularly during this season. helping people decide what to wear, when to travel, and even whether to carry an umbrella or not. But many still question the accuracy when the weather does not turn out as expected. In this explainer, Christabel Sussers Trevor breaks down how the Ghana Meteorological Agency produces its forecasts and what they really mean for the public.
You check your phone before leaving home and it says that there's a 40% chance of rain. So you grab an umbrella. Hours later, the sun is blazing. We've all been there. So was the forecast wrong? Why does one side of Accra get drenched while another stays completely dry? And what does a 40% or 70% chance of rain really mean? It's one of the most common complaints about weather forecasts. But according to the meteorologists, that's not how forecasting works. Weather forecasting isn't about predicting the future. It's about using science to calculate what is most likely to happen. Behind every forecast is a network of weather stations spread across the country. These stations constantly monitor rainfall, temperature, humidity, wind speed, wind direction, and atmospheric pressure. That information is combined with satellite images, radar data, and sophisticated computer models that track weather systems moving across West Africa and beyond. Meteorologists study all of this before issuing forecasts that help Ghanaians plan their day.
We pick this historical information, feed them into a numerical weather prediction model, and then the model predicts how those parameters are going to behave in the future. It is able to tell us how temperature and rainfall is going to behave in the next 2 days, in the next 3 days, or in the next 5 days.
But weather never stands still. The atmosphere is constantly changing, which means forecasts are constantly being refined. That's why the forecast you read in the morning may not exactly be the same by evening.
Forecast in itself has a level of uncertainty. There's nowhere in the world that you can have 100% accurate forecast. It doesn't actually exist. So when we send a forecast, what we would expect is that people will also look at the probability attached to the forecast that has been sent out. If there's a 40% chance that we'll get rainfall, it means that there's a 60% chance that rain will not occur. The forecast is just giving you an information to guide your preparations.
Perhaps, could the biggest misunderstanding be this? If rain was forecast, many people expect it to fall everywhere, but weather doesn't work that way. That's why residents in East Legon may experience a heavy downpour, while just a few kilometers away in Adenta, the road remains completely dry.
There are times you see the forecast stating that there will be thunderstorms with or without rain. So if we say that as maybe for Greater Accra, what we mean is that in some areas you see the thunder with rain. In other areas, it will just be the thunder without the rain. So it will be a mixture of the two within the region.
Then there are percentages. A forecast may say there is a 70% chance of rain. That percentage actually refers to the likelihood of measurable rainfall occurring within the forecast area during that period. It's a probability, not a promise. Forecasts also come with different levels of alerts. Understanding the language could make all the difference. According to the GMET, no forecast is ever 100% certain.
So mist and fog are actually like twins. The difference is that one is a lot more dense. When you wake up very early in the morning, we see this very common in the Aburi area, so the mountains. Very early in the mornings, when you try to climb the mountains, you see that visibility, you don't see too well. Horizontal visibility is not too good. That is the weather that is causing the visibility to be poor or obstructing you to see clearly ahead is what we call the mist or the fog. When it is mist, it means that you can still see about 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers or even more ahead of you. But when it is fog, then you cannot see beyond 1 kilometer. So fog is a lot more dense. Mist is quite shallow. Haze is the one that we see in the dry season. So when the Harmattan comes, it becomes dusty. So the dust also prevents you from seeing.
For drivers, forecasts can help avoid flooded roads. For farmers, they guide planting and harvesting. For fishermen, they provide crucial information about winds and storms at sea. And for the rest of us, they might simply answer one important question before stepping out. Should I carry an umbrella today?
When we get very sure that the rains will come around 2 p.m. and will affect these particular areas, we send what we call the weather warning. So warnings actually have very high accuracy. Anytime you see a warning, it means that the likelihood that it will occur is very high. So we follow it up with the short range forecast. So you know from the morning to the evening what time of the day that rains are likely or when there's no rain expected.
Weather forecasts are not guarantees. The more we understand what they mean, the better prepared we can be. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News.
Weather News segment is brought to you by Syntex Tank.
Well, let's find out how the weather forecast is going to be for going into this evening as well as tomorrow morning. And this evening, thunderstorms or rain are likely over parts of the northern, transition and middle sectors. The southern half of the country will remain mostly cloudy with a chance of slight rain expected over some coastal and inland towns. Mist or fog patches may form over the coast, forests and hilly areas early tomorrow morning, leading to reduced visibility. Coming up are the forecast figures for tonight. You're also watching News 360 on TV3. More after this break. Don't go away.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email. $100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
For staying with us, as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark Population Day, attention is turning to the country's growing youth population and the increasing movement of young people from rural communities to urban centers in search of opportunity. While migration has long been part of development, experts say the pace of urban growth is putting enormous pressure on cities and called for improved urban planning, among others. Here's a report by Evelyn Tengma.
Every day, young Ghanaians leave their hometowns with one goal: to find opportunity. For many, that journey ends in the capital, Accra, while others settle in Kumasi. But while the dream is big, the reality is often more challenging. This year's World Population Day is being observed under the theme Realizing the Hopes and Aspirations of Young People Today and for the Future. In Ghana, that conversation is increasingly about where young people are choosing to live. The Ghana Statistical Service estimates the country's population at 34.4 million, but Ghana's cities are growing even faster. Between 2010 and 2021, the urban population increased by almost 4.93 million, with nearly half of that growth concentrated in the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions. Accra remains the country's biggest migration destination, recording a net migration gain of more than 1.1 million people. The effects are evident in rising housing costs, traffic congestion, overstretched hospitals, poor sanitation and growing pressure on public services. Young people are at the center of this transformation. Nearly 11.8 million Ghanaians are between the ages of 15 and 35, and more than 60% of them now live in urban areas.
If we are able to find a way to create more jobs in those communities, I think it will go a long way to help with the population that has been increasing in Accra recently, because the population that has been increasing in Accra has caused a lot of, let's say, both positive and negative. It's like as if we are having more negative effects than the positive ones. When I'm done, I would like to start my own job, and starting your own job in other areas outside Accra is quite difficult because the opportunities are not around.
Sometimes it's the course we choose. Other times too, I'll say the government should help. Yes, should create more jobs. We've been saying this for a long time, and also we have to get ourselves acquainted. We should learn some skills because life already over here is difficult. Everybody is busy struggling to get what they need.
Environmental health expert Dr. Elvis Chirejiabo says addressing the environmental and health impacts of migration will require improved urban planning and better waste management systems. He added that expanding access to decent housing and basic public services is essential rather than focusing on efforts to discourage migration itself.
Most of these individuals migrating are coming from a poor socioeconomic background, hoping to better their lot. So they do not have the money to come and rent an apartment or a room that has a waste management service or even a proper human dignity services such as a toilet and bath. And so when that happens, it means that they get exposed to very poor environmental health conditions. It affects their health in the long run.
As Ghana joins the rest of the world to observe World Population Day, one message stands out. Investing in young people is investing in the country's future. Their hopes, aspirations, and potential could become the engine of Ghana's next chapter if the right opportunities are created today. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
And for many Ghanaians who travel frequently, passport stamps are increasingly becoming a thing of the past. Many countries now issue electronic visas, allowing travelers to apply online without visiting an embassy or receiving a visa sticker in their passport. Nura Mohammed has been speaking to some Ghanaians on whether they will miss the old stamps which served as a physical record of the countries they have visited.
Ghana is among the countries introducing electronic visa services as part of efforts to modernize immigration procedures and improve convenience for eligible travelers. According to the International Air Transport Association, more than 70 countries and territories now offer some form of e-visa, while many others still rely on traditional paper visas and passport stamps. The next major change is expected in Europe. The European Union's entry-exit system will replace manual passport stamping across the 29 Schengen countries. First-time travelers will register their facial images and fingerprints, creating a secure digital travel record that can be used for future border crossings. The system is designed to strengthen border security, reduce fraud, and speed up immigration procedures. While Ghana continues to stamp passports, its ongoing digital transformation raises questions about whether electronic entry and exit records could one day replace a familiar ink stamp. For seasoned travelers, losing passport stamps may mean saying goodbye to a cherished travel keepsake. Travelers at the Accra International Airport shared mixed opinions.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but I think I prefer the e-visa. It's faster. Once you're able to scan, you can do like a self-checkout yourself. You don't need anybody. You scan that, you print out your stuff, you put on your luggage, you drop it off at the luggage drop-off point, and you're good to go. There's no like long queues, stay here, move to the next place, let me see your face, open to this page. No. You scan, you get to go.
Well, as for me, I don't want to show off. I don't want to show like people to see that I travel to this place. No, I'm okay with anyone.
Well, we know to progress, we have to do like the Europeans do and other countries do, but progress is not necessarily advantageous to everyone. I personally would prefer the stamping into the passport, because when I travel to different places and I tell someone I travel, what is the proof if you don't show them a stamp of entry or something of that sort? So I'm still for the old method of stamping.
For many governments, the future of international travel is increasingly focused on faster, smarter, and more secure border control. Is Ghana ready to say goodbye to passport stamps? Only time will tell. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
The bulletin returns with more after this break. Don't go away.
South African football is mourning following the death of Bafana Bafana midfielder Jayden Adams. He was 25 years old. Adams, who recently represented South Africa at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, died on Saturday. Authorities found his body at his home in Cape Town. The cause of the death remains undetermined as investigations are still ongoing. The talented midfielder played a key role in South Africa's historic World Cup campaign, helping the team reach the knockout stages for the first time. At club level, he starred at Mamelodi Sundowns after making his name with Stellenbosch FC. Tributes have poured in from across the football world, including FIFA President Gianni Infantino, who described Adams' passing as incredibly sad. South African football officials, teammates, and supporters have also honored his contribution to the game.
And on that sad note, we end News 360. We came to you live from our studios here, number 35, John Hammond Street in Accra. But there's more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Allen.
And I'm Grace Hamuajiman. Don't forget, Mundial Live is up immediately after here. And then at 9 p.m., we bring you that game between Norway and England. Good evening. Crosby, who are you going for, Kane or Haaland?
I think it's keenly contested. Norway.
Norway.
Yes.
Okay. I'm for Kane.
We'll see how it goes.
La